Hi everyone, it's Rax and welcome to another Diablo 4 guide. We've covered the 3 classes that were available in the pre-press preview release version, which was the Bard, the Rogue, and the Sorceress, and now it's time to get into all the other main functions of the game and talk to you about how they work. So today we'll talk about trading and see what's going to happen in D4 and see if we think it's going to be a good system or not. So let's just jump right on in and discuss what items can be traded. Well, you can trade magic, common, and rare items, gold, gems, and elixirs. So anything above a rare, a legendary, and its aspects. An aspect is extracting the legendary power out to use later, which we'll discuss in a second. And unique items are obviously, if you played Diablo before, they're a very specific, super powerful item. Those aren't going to be tradable. Anything that you enchant. Every other currency except gold, there's a lot of materials and collectibles to make elixirs, for example, and blacksmithing stuff. You can't trade any of that, and you can't trade quest items. So what does this all mean? Well, the 2 things that stand out to me in this list are gold and rare items. Gold is extremely valuable. Gold is for respecking, and as we have seen in the 1 to 25 experience, we see the cost slowly rising. And the Diablo 4 devs have said in the past that they want your choices to matter. So we're thinking that the cost of respecking is going to be potentially astronomical as you get to the end game. So you're going to have to kind of fixate on the build that you want to use, otherwise pay a huge price. And there's gold costs and other things, other different crafting things and blacksmithing things. So the fact that you can trade gold kind of gives me like World of Warcraft vibes, where gold was extremely valuable, at least early on. And there were a lot of like gold farming and selling sites. And I think that that might become, a rampant thing in Diablo 4, especially because the devs just announced in the interview that they had that there will be no auction house, there will be no trade functionality in the game other than like a global trade chat. If you've ever played an MMO or an ARPG, you absolutely know that is not going to get it done. So third-party sites are going to be, licking their lips. Maybe JSP is going to be going rampant, unfortunately, selling gold and selling the rares, which we'll talk about in a second. Maybe Tradery will be there. We partner with them for Diablo 2, pretty good site. They might have a good setup for Diablo 4. It's possible. But let's talk about the rare items. Rare items are very important in Diablo 4. Because a rare item, you can take a legendary, extract its power out of it, and put it in a rare item to turn it into a legendary. That means, since you find rare items much more than you find legendaries, if you find a rare item with all the right stats, and then separately you find a legendary with the right power, you can extract it and shove it into the rare and have a godly item. Not all items are equally important. The weapons are extremely important. Your gloves are very important. And your jewelry is very important. Some of the other pieces don't matter. But you might be checking, for example, yellow weapons and yellow gloves for the rest of your life, trying to look for some godly items to either keep for yourself or trade. And so when I think about this system in its entirety, one flaw obviously is not having an in-game trading system. World of Warcraft, Lost Ark, all the other big ones, they have one and this one doesn't. I think that's going to hold it back for sure and open the door for third-party sites. It's different from Diablo 2, because Diablo 2 is just open trade everything. And it's different from Diablo 3, because Diablo 3 was like locked into 2 hours and only trading with your party. This is somewhere in the middle. So I think this is maybe like a decent compromise, and it's different from what they announced that they initially were going to do for Diablo 4. They initially said some items would be tradable forever. Well, that's this. And then they announced some would be never tradable. That's this. But then they said there would be a middle ground where you could only trade items once. I was kind of surprised that they didn't do that with the rare items. That way, you could only trade rares if you were going to equip it and not trade it, to bank up a bunch of really godly rares, I don't know, to build a fortune of some kind. There's another problem that happens a lot with these games, which hopefully we can avoid in Diablo 4, but you never know, is duping. When someone finds the ultimate rare gloves of awesomeness, they dupe it 1,000 times, we have a problem. And the same thing with the weapons. In my experiences playing Diablo 4, luckily, if there's any races or anything like that, I think there's too many facets of the game for powering up where it would actually affect like a world first race or something like that. But I think it will definitely have an impact in hunting for the absolute best items you could ever imagine. So have they hit it correctly? Should legendary items and aspects be tradable? It's a hotly debated topic, and the really good unique items. I personally love the fact of you have to play the game to get the best stuff. I don't think under any circumstances you should be able to just trade or buy your way for the best stuff. So even if you bought the best rare item in the game, if you don't have the legendary aspect, if you can't farm this on your own to put it on the rare item, it's garbage. Okay, not really sure to how excited I am for the fact that people are just going to go for third-party sites and buy whatever the number is, millions, billions of gold. That's not a good thing, but of course I will never do that. I'm just going to farm it for myself. But this is what they're going with. We'll have to see how the economy unfolds, but it's definitely something I'm going to be paying attention to, and something that I really hope Blizzard addresses. How do you trade? You get a trade partner, you open trade, you hit the check boxes. You can read this. It's pretty self-explanatory. How do you find trade partners? We already talked about that. There's an in-game trading channel, and that's it. Pretty rough. So discords, third-party sites like Tradery. I hope stuff like JSP does not rule the world, but I mean, it's the way that it goes. And that's pretty much it for trading. So that's how it's going to be on launch. What do you guys think? Are you happy with this system? What things are you concerned with? That's what I would be wanting to hear. Do you think it's perfect, or do you think there's going to be problems? I personally already have nightmares about the third-party sites spamming in chat. Oh, Diablo 4 trade, haha, you know, $1 billion gold for 17 bucks. Yeah, I guess it's just something we can never avoid. We'll talk about a lot of the other systems coming up, but I don't think the system is too terrible, but I guess we'll see how it goes. Thank you.